Hi, everyone. This is Mr. Thomas. I wanted to show you how to set up and solve the problems on the Edulastic because I know there were a lot of questions. So this is the very first problem, problem number 1, and it asks you to find what was his walking rate in miles per hour. Whenever you have a problem, you first have to make sure that you understand what it's asking you to find. It's asking us to find miles per hour, so I'm going to write down a fraction with miles per hour. Once you write down the words, you just need to find the numbers that go with it. The number of miles in this problem was 2/3, so I'm going to write that number next to the word that it belongs with. The number of hours in the problem, oh wait, it didn't give us hours, it told us 10 minutes. But I need to know 10 minutes equals how many hours? Well, 10 minutes isn't even one whole hour, it's less than an hour. It's only 10 minutes out of 60 minutes. So that's a fraction of an hour. I'm going to simplify that to 1/6 of an hour. If it was 30 minutes out of 60, that's half an hour. 30 minutes is half an hour, but we have 10 out of 60. So I'm going to put the fraction 1/6 because that's what 10 minutes is, 1/6 of an hour. Now that I set up the problem, I can solve it. This is a complex fraction, which means it's a fraction divided by another fraction. And when you have dividing fractions, you keep, change, flip. So keep, change it to multiply, and flip it to 6/1. And that will tell you how many miles per hour. That's problem number 1. Pause it if you need to, and then finish solving that equation. Next, the question is asking, what is the unit price of the turkey in the package? The unit price, that means how much turkey for one, or what is the price for one. So we're trying to find the price for 1 pound of turkey. To find the unit rate, you have to take those two values and divide it. We have to take the amount of money per pound. So I know it's $9 for 1/4 of a pound. I need to figure out how much it is for 1 pound, which means I'm going to divide those two numbers to figure out the unit rate. In order to divide them, I have to keep, change, flip, which means first I need to turn them both into fractions. The whole number would be a fraction with 1 under it. The mixed number, you multiply and add, and it becomes 5/4 of a pound. So keep, change, flip. You're going to divide those fractions by turning it into a multiplication problem, and then you'll know the unit rate because you'll know how much it is for 1. Pause it if you need to, solve that one, and then get ready for problem number 3. Problem number 3 has 2 parts. Part A says, I want the rate of paint coverage in square yards per gallon. So I need to know the number of yards per gallon. If they ask for yards per gallon, I write down yards first and gallon second, and then I fill in the numbers. 42 2/3 is the number of yards, so it goes next to the word yards. 1 1/3 gallons goes next to the gallons. To find the unit rate, you have to divide, which means you have to turn this into a fraction. Keep, change, flip. You have to turn it into a fraction. So you multiply 3 times 42 plus 2. So that becomes an improper fraction. You multiply 3 times 1 plus 1 is 4/3. And once you have your 2 fractions, you're going to do the same thing that you did before. To find a unit rate, you divide, and that means keep, change, flip. 3 times 42 is 126, 128 over 3. That looks like a 3. Okay, that's how you will solve this one. Keep, change, flip, and you'll figure out the number of yards per gallon. Once you know that, you have to go on to part 2, which says the label on the paint container states the average coverage rate is 275 feet per gallon. So you should have just figured out how many square yards per gallon. How do I turn feet per gallon into yards per gallon? Well, let's see. This is an equivalency. 1 square yard is the same as 9 square feet. I can make that into a ratio. 1 square yard equals 9 square feet. So now create that proportion like we were doing the other day. Now we can convert yards into feet by making a proportion. I can either take 275 square feet and put it right in here to figure out how many yards a paint can represents, or I could use the number that you got on this problem, whatever your answer was here, because you figured out the square coverage in yards per gallon, and you could put that into the yards per gallon. You just have to fill in one of these two numbers, either the square yards, either fill in the number for square yards or fill in the number for square feet, and then find the other value so you can compare Angela's rate to the rate on the can. Question number 4. Jared runs on a track that is 1/4 mile long, and he ran 6 times around the track in 3.5 minutes. Did he run faster or slower than 6 miles per hour? So we need to take these numbers and turn it into miles per hour. So first, I have to know how many miles he ran. Well, he went 6 times around the track, and the track is 1/4 of a mile long, so that's 6 times 1/4, or 1.5. You just have to count up 6 times 1/4 to get 6/4, or 1.5. I'll just leave it at 6/4 to make it easy for now. We also have to know how many hours. Well, that's a little bit trickier because he went 13.5 minutes, which is only part of an hour, which is 60 minutes. So that's your fraction. You have 6/4 divided by 13/2 over 60. I would probably turn this into a fraction or a decimal instead of mixed number. What I might do is just divide 13.5 by 60 and figure out a decimal that could go there. I would turn this into a decimal maybe of 1.5 and divide those two numbers to figure out the miles per hour. So you can type this into a calculator and put that in the denominator. You can put this in the numerator, and you can divide those two numbers to figure out how many miles per hour he actually went. Once you know how many miles per hour he went on the first day, you can compare it and see if it's bigger or smaller than 6. Last one. This recipe makes 8 servings and requires 3.5 cups. Which of the following equations can be used to find the number of servings x? So we want to figure out a proportion that has 14 cups of milk, and it needs to be compared to this. Well, these two go together, so I can put them into a fraction together. 8 servings and 3.5 cups. I also could have said 3.5 cups compared to 8 servings. Both of these would be fine. You just have to make sure that whatever you choose for your second fraction, if I put servings over cups, I'm going to have servings over cups. If I have cups over servings, I have to put cups over servings. So figure out which numbers are missing. 14 is the number of cups of milk, and servings is what you're looking for. These are the 2 possible combinations for that problem. And one of those should look like the answer on your question. If you have to rewatch this one more time, if you want to hear it more than once, or if you need to slow it down, go back and listen to it again. And hopefully that helped. If you still have more questions or something specific, let me know. I'd be happy to help you out.